My family texted me to stop contacting them completely, just 1 hour after I saved my mother's life, and they had no idea what I had already set in motion. Share this if you're still here, because what happens next is not something any family survives. I stared at the message, my fingers turning cold as I read it again and again. Zoe, we need distance from you. Please stop contacting us completely. No explanation. No emotion. Just a final shove out of their perfect little world. For a moment, I actually thought my phone glitched, because even for them, this was cruel. Last night, they mocked me at my dad's birthday dinner like it was some family sport. Madison laughed at the cheap dress one wore. My cousin Tyler said I was the failure of the family. My parents pretended I wasn't even sitting at the table, like I was air, disposable air. I didn't react, I never do. I just swallowed it quietly, the way I have for years. But this text was different. It wasn't random. It felt planned, rehearsed, almost like they were all waiting for the perfect moment to erase me. My phone buzzed again before I could breathe. Madison. Good. Now we can finally sell the company without her drama. Everything inside me stopped. Sell the company? My grandfather's company? The company that could never be sold without my signature. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about distance. They weren't trying to protect peace or boundaries. They were trying to cut me out just long enough to steal something they thought I didn't deserve. I slowly sat down on the cold kitchen floor, staring at the wall as memories hit me like someone slapping me awake. All those years they called me useless. All those times they laughed at my failed ideas. All those moments they told me I'd never amount to anything. They had no idea what I had been building in silence. They had no idea how much I had grown. They had no idea how much power I finally held. While they mocked me for being quiet, I was becoming the one person who could destroy every plan they were making behind my back. I took a deep breath, lifted my phone, and typed the one sentence I knew would scare them more than anything. You want distance? Fine. But you're not going to like what comes with it. I hit send, and my entire family's life shifted with that one tap. The moment I sent that message, my phone lit up non-stop calls from my dad, missed calls from my mother, 3 from Madison. Even Tyler tried calling me like suddenly I mattered. I didn't answer a single one. They wanted distance, right? They were going to get it in a way they never imagined. I grabbed my keys and walked out of my apartment. My heart beat steady, almost calm, like my body already knew what was coming. Next. For years I'd avoided going back to my grandfather's old office building, the one he left half to my mom and half to me, though she never told the rest of the family that. They always assumed everything belonged to them. They always assumed I was just a useless extra in their perfect picture. So, while they blew up my phone, begging me to talk, I drove straight to the office and walked into the conference room, where the board was waiting for me. They all stood when I walked in, something my family never did. Ms. Halley, the chairman said, "Do you want to proceed with the activation?" I nodded once. The folder in front of me held everything my family didn't know existed, documents my grandfather prepared before he died. He expected this. He knew how my family treated me. He knew they would come for the company someday. And he left me the one key they could never steal. All I had to do was sign one set of papers, one signature, and my family would lose every ounce of control they thought they had. As I picked up the pen, my phone buzzed again. A text from my mother this time. "Zoe, please answer. We didn't mean it like that." I almost laughed. They meant every word. And now they were scared, because they finally realized I wasn't the quiet, helpless girl they used to kick around at dinner tables. I signed the papers. The chairman watched me, then pressed a small black button on the table. "The transfer is now official," he said. "You are the sole decision-maker of the entire company." My phone buzzed again. Madison this time. "Zoe, you can't do anything without us." "Don't be stupid." She still didn't know. She still thought she held the cards. The chairman slid a second folder toward me, the one I knew would change everything. "There's something else you should see," he said quietly. "Your grandfather asked us to give this to you only after you took control." I opened the folder, and the moment I saw the first page, my blood ran cold. My family hadn't just wanted to sell the company. They had a plan to get rid of me completely. And the real twist: someone I trusted was involved. I flipped the folder open, my eyes scanning the first page. It was a series of emails, contracts, and notes that revealed a chilling truth. Madison had secretly been plotting with Tyler to transfer the company shares to themselves the moment I was out of the picture. They had even bribed one of the junior board members to support their plan, assuming I would never notice. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. Instead, a cold, quiet satisfaction washed over me. For years, they had underestimated me, humiliated me, ignored me. And now, the same people who laughed at my failure were about to watch me take everything they thought was theirs. I leaned back in the chair, keeping my expression neutral as my phone buzzed again. This time it was Dad. "Zoe, please, let's talk. We can fix this." Fix this? I smiled at the thought. They had no idea I already had their emails, their bribes, all neatly documented and ready to be handed to the board, the authorities, even the press if I wanted. But I wasn't done yet. I wanted them to feel the tension, the panic, the moment when reality finally caught up with their arrogance. Madison stormed in an hour later, wearing that smug expression she always thought would intimidate me. "Zoe, what do you think you're doing? You can't just—" I cut her off, calm but icy. "Oh, I think I can." And I just did. I held up the folder, letting her glance at the incriminating evidence. Her face went pale. Her voice shook. How did you get this?" I leaned forward, whispering in a way only she could hear. "You forgot one thing. I'm always 3 steps ahead." Tyler's jaw dropped, his eyes wide as he realized that their years of planning, scheming, and mocking had been for nothing. Every insult, every betrayal, they had built my motivation. Every plan they thought would work against me. I turned it into my weapon. And that's when I felt it. The perfect mixture of power, satisfaction, and revenge rising like fire in my chest. Madison opened her mouth to argue again. But before she could speak, the chairman walked in with 2 security officers. The timing was perfect, almost cinematic. Her confidence cracked instantly. What are they doing here?" she asked, stepping back like she already knew she wasn't going to like the answer. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. "They're here for the people who tried to commit corporate fraud." Tyler froze. Madison blinked fast, her breathing sharp and uneven. "Zoe, you wouldn't." "Wouldn't I?" I said quietly. "After everything you did to me? Everything you planned?" I slid the folder across the table toward the chairman. He picked it up like it was radioactive and began reading it in front of them. Every bribe, every meeting, every attempt to push me out, every disgusting plan they had written so confidently. Madison's face twisted. "This is a misunderstanding." "Stop," I said. "Just stop lying. You've been plotting this for years. And you thought I would sit quietly forever." The chairman looked at them with cold authority. "Ms. Halle has full control now. And this evidence is more than enough for removal and charges." Madison stepped toward me, voice trembling. Zoe, please. We're family. I almost laughed. You remembered that word today. How convenient. I watched her crumble, her pride folding like paper under the weight of her own actions. For the first time in my life, she wasn't the one holding the power. She wasn't the one with the upper hand. She wasn't the one smirking while I sat silent. She was exposed and scared. Tyler tried to speak, but his voice cracked. Zoe, we messed up, okay? But we can fix. No, I said. You can't fix this. But you're about to face it. The chairman nodded at security. Escort them out, Madison panicked. You're kicking us out. This is our company. It was, I said softly, until you decided I didn't deserve a place in the family. As they were escorted toward the door, Madison turned back one last time. Her eyes weren't angry now. They were terrified. Zoe, please don't do this. I didn't answer. I just watched the doors close behind them. And for the first time in my entire life, the silence felt powerful. I thought that was the end of it. I thought removing them would be the end of the betrayal. But when the chairman handed me the final page, the one my grandfather left for me alone, I realized something much darker had been happening behind my back. Something even Madison didn't know about. Something involving someone who had been pretending to protect me. I opened the final page slowly, my eyes scanning the words my grandfather had left just for me. It wasn't just a list of instructions or passwords, it was a revelation. Someone I had trusted completely, someone I thought was on my side, had been secretly working with Madison and Tyler all along, trying to manipulate the company behind my back. My chest tightened, but instead of fear, a rush of clarity washed over me. I had anticipated this. Every move, every betrayal, every lie, I had seen it coming. I smiled, calm and unstoppable, because now the final twist was mine to deliver. I made one call. By the next morning, the entire board, the authorities, and even the family lawyers were in the conference room. Every hidden alliance, every secret plot, every scheme against me was exposed. Madison and Tyler were humiliated, their credibility destroyed, and the family had no choice but to accept my control completely. My parents, the ones who once called me a disappointment, now looked at me with shock and fear, realizing their disowned daughter had become the most powerful one in the room. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The satisfaction, the justice, and the victory were mine quietly, fully, and completely. I leaned back, letting the silence sink in, knowing that after years of being mocked, ignored, and underestimated, I had finally rewritten the rules. Zoe was no longer the powerless girl. They had created her, and now they were forced to live in the reality she had built. And in that moment, I understood something my grandfather had always known. Real power comes not from anger, but from patience, strategy, and believing in yourself when no one else does. My family had tried to push me away. I had turned it into my ultimate victory. The chapter was closed. The revenge was complete. And the world, finally, knew who Zoe Harley truly was.